Dear colleagues, Ministry of Defense spokesperson Mr. Vilyen Pidgornyy will speak on Russia's military aggression in eastern Ukraine. Mr. Pidgornyy, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you a weekly update on the Russian aggression against Ukraine between December 19th and 25th. Following the previous week's report about the military engagement at Svetlodarsk next to Luhansk village in the Donetsk sector, active skirmishes continued between December 18th and 22nd. Russia-backed militants attempted to seize Ukrainian positions several times using weapons banned by Minsk Accords, including mortars and artillery systems. Ukrainian troops were forced to retaliate in order to stop hostile fire and safeguard the lives of servicemen and civilians who still live in Luhansk village. During the battle, the militants captured 3 bodies of Ukrainian soldiers. All bodies were returned in a series of exchanges. The last one took place yesterday. 2 bodies were returned in an exchange that took place in the city of Shastya, Luhansk sector. The OSC Special Monitoring Mission observed the process. As a result of engagement, Ukrainian troops took over Novoluhansk village, which was supposed to be under government control according to Minsk agreements, yet it remained in the buffer zone for the most of the time. Ukrainian armed forces set up a position on the southern outskirts of the village, which would further facilitate deliveries of the humanitarian aid to local civilians and streamline the process of passing through the checkpoints to the rest of Ukraine. The militants, however, responded with another mortar shelling. Russia-backed militants also tried to fire at Ukrainian troops from the side of Vuhlehirsk water reservoir and attack from the flank in the area of Troitske and Vozdvizhenka villages. The enemy used mortars and artillery batteries. Ukrainian army stood firm and held control over its positions. As per intelligence reports, Russian proxy so-called 7th Brigade stationed in the city of Debaltseve got reinforcements, particularly additional artillery systems and ammunition. We can also confirm the use of 152mm Hyacinth artillery systems banned by Minsk agreements that the proxy forces are still using against Ukrainian army. The militants' offensive was carefully organized and had artillery support. The whole Russian proxy brigade was engaged in the Battle of Svetlodarsk, but after suffering heavy casualties, some of its units were disbanded. Russian military command also employed sophisticated electronic warfare systems to identify Ukrainian positions and direct artillery fire. They were forced to withdraw, however, after Ukrainian troops prevailed in the battlefield. The military action took place against the background of another round of negotiations of Trilateral Contact Group in Minsk on December 21st. The result was an agreement that complete and sustainable ceasefire should be upheld from December 24th. Yet the first day of the Christmas ceasefire was marked by ceasefire violations committed by Russia-backed militants in every sector. The number of ceasefire violations increased yesterday primarily at the Svetlodarsk, where the militants fired from mortars and armored vehicles. Situation at the Horlivka perimeter has improved with less incidents of hostile fire, while Avdiivka and Donetsk airport areas were completely quiet for the first time in months. Now, to the overall situation at the front line over the past week. The highest number of ceasefire violations committed by Russian-backed militants was 50 on December 23rd and 24 at the lowest on December 21st. Hostile shelling from 82mm and 120mm mortars and artillery were registered in the Mariupol sector. Most intense action was observed in the area stretching from Talakivka to Shirokino village on the Azov Sea coastline. The militants attempted to assault Ukrainian positions close to Vodyana village, and their advance was quickly foiled by Ukrainian troops who forced the enemy to retreat. In the Donetsk sector, Russian proxies were most active in the area of Luhansk village. After the major clash between December 18th and 22nd, Russian proxies attempted another assault on December 23rd. Ukrainian troops repelled the attack. Other major flashpoints included Avdiivka area and Holivka perimeter. In the Luhansk sector, the militants focused their fire on Popasna district, using Grad multiple rocket launchers on December 23rd. Ukrainian troops next to Stanitsa Luhanska also came under enemy fire. This demonstrates systematic and consistent disregard by the Russian forces and pro-Russian militants of the framework decisions related to disengagement of forces and hardware approved by Trilateral Contact Group in Minsk on September 21st. Over the week, Ukrainian troops have registered 12 episodes of hostile drones conducting aerial reconnaissance in the ATO area. Russia keeps supplying its proxies in eastern Ukraine. 3 railway echelons arrived to Ilovaisk and Rovenki railway stations, delivering 950 tons of fuel. At least 120 tons of fuel was dispatched to Debaltseve as reinforcements to the militants fighting against Ukrainian troops next to Svetlodarsk. Also, 2 chains of trucks full of weapons, military hardware, and ammunition, including mortar mines and 300 personnel, led by Russian officers, arrived to eastern Ukraine. Military intelligence reports that the number of casualties among Russian proxies is 18 killed and 38 wounded over the week. Most casualties were incurred during the military action close to Luhansk village. Last week, 6 Ukrainian servicemen were killed in action, and 30 servicemen were wounded in action. Moreover, 21 servicemen suffered concussion in battle. Our hearts go out to the families and friends of the fallen Ukrainian heroes. 9 buildings and infrastructure facilities were damaged due to hostile shelling in Svetlodarsk, Luhansk, Pivdenne, and Avdiivka. This includes 5 residential buildings in Pivdenne and Avdiivka, a police car in Svetlodarsk, as well as gas pipeline and power lines. No civilians were injured or killed. Ukrainian officers at the Joint Center for Control and Coordination facilitated repair work at the infrastructure facilities crucial for normal lives of the local population. Donetsk filter station was repaired and water supply was restored to Avdiivka and Yasenovata. Avdiivka coke plant was under threat to completely halt its operation. Yet Ukrainian officers helped fix it on time to continue the functioning of a strategically important plant. Moreover, Ukrainian military and emergency services fixed power lines essential for water supply of over 500,000 civilians in government-controlled Toretsk and Mariupol, as well as Horlivka and Donetsk on the temporarily occupied territories. Ukrainian authorities arranged for access and safe passage through government checkpoints on the contact line of 16 trucks loaded with humanitarian aid for civilians living in the occupied territories. The total payload of aid exceeds 520 tons. It includes food and hygiene products. Humanitarian assistance was provided by the International Committee of the Red Cross, the UN High Commissioner for Refugee Representative in Ukraine, and Ukrainian charity organizations. That'll be all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pidgornyy. Looking forward to seeing you here next week.
Thank you.